Hello, everybody. Okay, I know many of us are concerned about weight gain, especially, after we get over the age of 35, because what used to work for us, just slashing those calories and working a little harder doesn't work anymore. And trust me, it doesn't. You need to change things. So let's talk about something, like I said, when I was going through, weight gain in my late 30s, early 40s, I was one of those people that slashed the calories and worked out harder and fried myself. And that was not a good idea. But when you know better, you do better. And I didn't know about any of what I'm going to share with you today. So let's dive in a little bit here. And I was also, oh my gosh, hormones. I don't understand hormones, but I really want to make this very easy today. So there's something called estrogen dominance. So we're going to talk about this a little bit, but I just want to talk first about estrogen because it plays a very important role for women and not just for our reproductive system. Okay, it contributes to bone health, which I did an amazing episode. I think it's episode number 8. And I really implore you to listen to it, because having strong bones, it's actually episode number 7, is really important. So estrogen contributes to bone health, protects our cardiovascular system, influences our mood and behavior. Okay. And you're like, well, how does this relate to weight gain? Well, just listen up. We'll get there. All right. So as always in our systems, we don't want too much or too little of everything. We're really always trying to find that balance. But what happens is sometimes we get too much estrogen in our body, and it can lead to several forms of cancer, as well as PCOS, premenstrual syndrome, and endometriosis. Okay. And although genetics can play a part in how the body produces and metabolizes estrogen, our lifestyles have a major effect on our estrogen levels. Okay. So how our body metabolizes estrogen is more important than most of us realize, and maybe something that we haven't even really thought about. So at some point in most of our lives, especially in this North American culture, we are going to experience some estrogen dominance. We're going to suffer from some form of estrogen dominance. Okay, this is high body fat, and high stress can contribute to elevated estrogen levels, as can taking some medications such as birth control pills, drinking too much alcohol, or doing anything that compromises proper liver function. And what I've really learned during my adventure to vibrant health is just we are all connected. Like, our bodies are all connected. Everything we do connects somewhere else in our body. We cannot the words just escaped me, but we cannot just focus on one area. We're a system, and we have to see how all of these systems play into each other. All right. So let's look at estrogen dominance and the menstrual cycle. So if you're still menstruating, listen in. And if you're not, listen in as well, because you will get some information out of this that may help somebody else, or just kind of see where you are in your cycle. Because even after you stop cycling, when you go into menopause, you still have forms of estrogen. You still have hormones. They're just not like they used to be. All right. So let's go back to, grade school, or whenever we kind of learned this stuff and forgot it very shortly thereafter. But the first half of your menstrual cycle is known as the follicular phase. And in the ovaries, okay, there's this small sac of fluid known as folliculars begins to grow because estrogen levels are starting to rise. So those first 10 days, you get your period, and those first 10 days, your estrogen is rising. And if you're menopausal, this is what we put to the new moon and the next 10 days. All right. So each of these folliculars, I don't know why I can't say that, follicles, there we go. Each of these follicles has the potential to release an egg. And so just before ovulation, which is the full moon period, if you're menopausal, estrogen spikes, causing this luteinizing hormone to release from the pituitary gland and stimulating the primary follicle to release the egg. All right, now this obviously, as we get into perimenopause, and menopause is not happening, but if you are, or happening as much, in perimenopause, but as we are before perimenopause, this is definitely going on here. Okay, so this release of the egg is known as ovulation and typically occurs midway through the cycle. So full moon and about day, 12, 15, somewhere in there for if you're cycling. The second half of the cycle is known as the luteal phase. Okay, the luteal phase. And after this egg is released, the leftover follicle closes, becomes known as the corpus luteum, and starts to produce progesterone. Okay, so on the second half of your cycle, estrogen is slowly declining and progesterone is rising. Now, if the egg is not fertilized and an embryo implanted in the uterus, okay, the hormones fall, the body sheds the uterine lining in the menstrual period. All right, so if you do not ovulate, or you do not ovulate very well, your progesterone levels are not healthy, which reduces your chances of implementation and increases the risk for miscarriage. Okay, and if your estrogen is not healthy, you may not stimulate the luteal luteinizing hormone surge that is needed to prompt ovulation, which means you're not releasing an egg. All right, so I know there's many women who are, actually, I think it's 1 in 2 women now are having difficulty getting pregnant, and 1 in 3 men have a low sperm count. Like this is real, okay? And there's lots of reasons why. Some of them I'll touch upon today, but it's really important to start understanding how our diet and lifestyle is affecting our hormones. So common estrogen dominant symptoms associated with the menstrual cycle include breast tenderness, mood swings, and heavy bleeding. Okay, so if you're not metabolizing your estrogen properly, it may indicate a bigger issue with folate, which is critical to fetal development. And you may go and do a hormone test and just see how your estrogen is rising and falling during the month. So I did a Dutch test. I have it right in front of me here in, when did I do this? I did this in 2019. Oh, August. I'm taping this in August 27th, 2019. So it's been 4 years. And I would suggest, I should probably do another one, but the biggest mistake I made was not having somebody who could read this properly. You really have to have and it's an expensive test. I think I paid $500. You have to have somebody who can read the test to help you. So if you are thinking about a Dutch test, which is a dried urine test, okay, to help understand your hormones better, get someone who can read the test to help you figure out what you need to do. Okay, so from this, I did clean up some of my liver. I started to get a St. Francis liver tonic. I got some maca into my smoothies. I increased some of my zinc. And I took like a wild yam complex to help with hormones. So I did do a few things, but I felt like I was left a little, I don't know, not supported. So I have, since then dove deeper into understanding how to work out with my cycle, how to eat with my cycle. I've done many podcast episodes on that, and how to really help support my estrogen building in the first 10 days of my cycle, and then also how to help my progesterone levels in the last part of my cycle. All right, so I've talked a lot about that, and I'll bring that up a little bit more here. All right, so you know, if we don't have these hormones balanced, it wreaks havoc in our body and we see symptoms. And many of us just go to the symptom of trying to lose weight. So we work out harder or cut the calories more. And that's not what we need to do. That actually puts more stress on the body, which we don't want, and causes problems. Okay, so, you know, many of us don't think about cleaning up our liver or decreasing the toxins we put in our body, or how do we support our detox pathways, right? And so this is why, you know, these are things I've been doing for the last 10 years. And just the more I do them, the more I understand why I'm doing them, the more connected I feel in my body. So it's really important. Every episode I do just kind of builds and builds and builds, and slowly over time you'll just start to change your skincare. You'll start to change what you're eating. You'll start to add more plant diversity. You'll start to elevate your proteins in your diet. You will start to carb cycle, because that's going to benefit your hormones. You're going to understand not to push yourself at certain times of the month when it comes to exercise. You're going to learn how to manage your stress. You're going to learn how to sleep better. All of these things matter. There is nothing in isolation. Oh, the word I was looking for before was reductionist. We have a very reductionist healthcare system where we look at one organ or one part of the body, and we forget that we are a whole, and everything we do affects everything. Okay, so when we look at estrogen dominance and metabolism, we metabolize estrogen in the liver. So is your liver functioning properly? Okay, do you have the bad fats for the most part out of your diet? Are you, using skincare that supports a healthy microbiome and liver? You know, I think the average woman puts 156, which just seems so incredibly high to me, products or toxins on her body every day. So flip the label over of your products and be like, oh my gosh, I don't understand what this is. I don't understand what this is. And I've done a great episode talking about skincare. I'm just going to pull it up here so that you can go towards it, but it's it's back here. Just give me a second here. It is number 60, detox your makeup bag and have the best skin ever. And then number 61, best skin ever with David from Skin Essence Organics. So over the years, I used 3 products: Beauty Counter, Living Libations, and Skin Essence. And I don't use anything else. And I have really changed what I've done over the years. I don't shampoo my hair as much anymore, even though I'm using really good shampoo that's natural. But there's just less and less things that, I could just dive into this, but listen to those episodes. They're very, very focused on that. Okay, so back to the liver here. We have like a 2-phase process that happens in the liver to detoxify and excrete it, right? And so we need this process happening to break down the estrogen because it's toxic, and we need to have some formulation happening in, I'm not going to get into all the long names here, but to stabilize it so that we can break it down and get rid of it. All right. And then in my Dutch test, we have different pathways, which, I didn't know of back then, but I do now. But you have your 2-OH, your 4-OH, and your 16-OH or your 16-AOH. And some of these are, just how you metabolize estrogen. But it's important to know. So maybe you're suffering, and this could be a reason, and you can start to do some, action steps to help improve your liver and how you detoxify estrogen. All right. So I won't get into all of those, but just know that, again, there are some really simple things you can start to do, like really simple, like learning how to eat less carbohydrates in the first 10 days, more carbohydrates in the last 10 days of your cycle. Learn how to work a little harder in the first part of your cycle and be more relaxing in the second part of your cycle. Learn how to manage your stress. Okay. Really, this is so key. We are stressed. Learn to process your emotions. So I have an amazing episode coming up, and I've been doing this phenomenal gut course. Number 65 coming up soon on August 20th. So by the time I record this, it'll be out there. But with Vicki Reeve talking about the the energetic electrician, we need to metabolize our emotions, right? I was just listening to Dr. Zach Bush, who I absolutely love, and he's talking about how guilt sits in the colon. And I'm getting a little off topic here, but I just find this so fascinating because it really plays into how integrated we are. So, are you processing your emotions properly, or are you holding on to them like a rotting hamburger in your gut? Right. And so I've done so many episodes. I've done one on shame, and I've done one on guilt and fear. And these are really important. So number 46 is shame. Number 48 is perfectionism. Number 50 is guilt and how to overcome it. And 52 is the grip of fear. Those are really important episodes to listen to because we hold these emotions in our body and they affect us and they fester. So how can we begin to move those emotions out of the body? All right. So you're probably going, Tanya, just tell me about the losing weight part. And I have been, because toxic emotion in your body is not good for you. Okay. It feels very heavy. It's very cellular heaviness. Okay. And I have a great episode, which will be live by the time this episode goes live, with Deanna Hansen, who I just love listening to her. And I've been blocking for 3 years. And I've talked about issues in your tissues, and you have to decrease the inflammation in your body. So number 67, listen to that on how to heal your nervous system with Deanna Hansen. Really amazing episode. And then I've done one on, rolling, how rolling changed my life. Like this is what matters. So number 38 is how rolling changed my life. These things matter. Okay. It's not all about what you put in your mouth and how you move your body. It's really decreasing the inflammation in your body as well. Okay. So if you are interested about your hormones, the Dutch test is, the most, I think, the best test at the moment that I know of, because you take, I think, 5 samples of urine during the day, and as opposed to a blood test, which is just one moment in time. So if you're really interested about that, look into it, find a practitioner who can help you with that. If you really want to learn how to decrease the estrogen in our bodies, really start to look at your skincare products, what you're feeding yourself. Okay, this matters. Stop drinking out of plastic. Stop heating things up in plastic. Stop putting saran wrap over things if you put them in the microwave. So there's some key little things that you can begin to do that have a big difference. You can love on your liver. I'll do a whole episode in my Vibrant Living membership. We spend a whole month learning how to love on our liver. We spend another month learning how to love on our gut. We have another month that's like loving on the brain. All right. So really, all of these things matter. All of these things matter. So if you decide to do the Dutch test, and you find out, how estrogen is working in your body, that gives you some clues about what you can do. So weight gain, high cortisol due to stress, and alcohol all lead to increasing estrogen. And, I know that my alcohol intake is not 0, but it's definitely less than what it used to be in my 20s and 30s. All right. So Our age also plays into our estrogen levels. And as our menstrual cycle ceases and we begin to get into this menopausal stage, our body naturally stops producing progesterone. And that can cause our estrogen levels to get too high. All right. And so we have to have this dance between this progesterone and this estrogen in our body. And progesterone is the nurturing. We need to nurture ourselves more, and we're not. And I didn't for years. And too many of us are living in this busy, busy, busy culture. And I'm going to put my hand up because I was there too. I totally was there. And I wore the busy badge. And the busier I was, the better I felt. I was like riding that adrenaline high. You know, my ego was pumped. I can do it all. I can do it all. But in the meantime, I messed up my progesterone levels. But I didn't know that. I didn't, because I wasn't taught this. And this is why I want to teach you this. So leading into the 10 days before your cycle, or if you're menopausal, those 10 days, you know, after the full moon kind of period, that we really want to nurture ourselves, spend more time in nature, get our hands into some dirt, eat a little bit more of the healthy carbohydrates to help with the building blocks of our hormones. Sleep a little bit more, have some baths, some saunas, just whatever, read a book, like whatever nurtures your soul. This is not the time to be running around like a crazy person, which I did. So I'm guilty of it. But when like I said at the beginning, when you know better, you do better. So I really started to be like, what can I do to support my progesterone levels? Because, you know, this estrogen dominance, is too much estrogen in our body, leads to insulin resistance, and insulin resistance can lead to diabetes. And I don't want that, right? And it can also lead to some cancer growths, and I don't want that. So dang tootin' that I'm going to start to nurture my body a little bit more and turn inward to support my progesterone levels. Okay. So really focusing on healthy fats, your avocados, your MCT oils, and really trying to get rid of those processed foods out of the diet. They're not serving us in any way possible. And I'm not, you know, talking about perfection, but I'm just saying that be cognizant of what we're doing. And, you know, also in my membership, we do monthly fasts, which are really healing to the body. And again, you don't fast when you're in the latter part of your cycle, right? So learning how to fast with your cycle, whether again, you're menopausal or premenopausal. So these are all the things that I teach in my Vibrant Living membership. And it's a process. It's something you learn. We have to change some of our habits, right? And so when we use these tools, though, it helps to keep our weight in check and our insulin levels low, and therefore we limit the growth environment for the cancers, the fibroids, the polyps that the toxins in our estrogen metabolites can breed. So really, really, really important to, you know, maybe get that test, see what you are, or if you don't want to do the test, I've given you lots of you know, actionable item steps in here. I'll leave you with a couple others. All right. So supplements are, you know, I used to be so against supplements, but there is a time and a place for them, but there's not a time and a place for them if you're not willing to do the work to also change your lifestyle. You can't out supplement a bad diet. It's the same as medication in a sense, where you're just looking for a pill. Trust me, if I could find a pill and I could just eat and drink and be a sloth and be in vibrant health, I would tell you what it was. but there's not. Okay. And so when we go to supplements, it is to supplement. It is to help support us. It is not the magic pill, as much as I'd like it to be sometimes. So some of the things that we can do to help these supplements to go down the healthy pathway of the 2OH, which is what you really want to help metabolize your estrogen is glutathione, which you can get in avocados. So just pull up on Google foods that contain glutathione and start to increase those in your diet. And then NAC, which is a supplement. It's N-acetylcysteine, right? NAC. So pick up some of that. And those can help, because both are amino acids that act as antioxidants to help prevent and repair cell damage. Also look at your B vitamins, right? B vitamin 12 and B vitamin 6, as well as your choline, which are in your egg yolks, right? And organ meats like beef liver are also extremely important nutrients to help support estrogen metabolism. So I know so many people who throw the egg yolks out. Please don't throw the egg yolks out. That's your healthy fats for your brain and your help to metabolize your estrogen. Okay, stop buying the egg white containers. Go to your local farmer, get some farm fresh eggs, and eat the egg yolks. Bee pollen has some B vitamins in it, but you also may need to supplement with a B vitamin, and just see how it feels. And you don't have to do all this at once, right? Just over time. And I like rotating things. Okay, I'm big into that. So losing weight, reducing stress, and reducing alcohol consumption are all key to managing estrogen dominance. And as I mentioned before, fasting is an effective way to help you lose weight and also reduce your insulin secretion, which helps you manage your estrogen dominance. Okay. But even if you, manage your weight and you meditate 3 times a day and you don't drink a lot, we also, as women, we're aging, right? And so our hormones are changing, and this puts our hormonal balance at risk. So this is a time of your life where, and this is what I had to do, I had to put on my big girl pants and make some of these changes. Therefore, I drink less than I used to. I've learned how to move with my cycle. I've learned how to, detox my skincare products. I've learned to integrate these to support my system. And I feel better, right? I feel better. So that, my friends, is some, a little lesson on estrogen and estrogen dominance. And you really want to make sure that you are doing some of these really simple lifestyle hacks to help support your body, to keep your insulin levels low. And also, many of you may have PCOS. I am not a specialist in this at all. I've read about it, but just know, again, your lifestyle is really important to how it affects your hormones in your body. As always, I hope this resonated with you, please share this with your gal pals and listen. I listen and read and listen and read. And the more you do this, the more it gets into your vernacular and your cellular being, and you start to understand why you're doing something. I like to know why. I don't like somebody saying like, don't eat that or do this. Why? Oh, it's because I'm supporting my estrogen and I'm supporting my progesterone and I'm working to balance my hormones, which is going to help with my weight, which is going to help with my mood, which is going to help with my insulin, which is going to help avoid getting cancer and diabetes. Oh, okay. I get it now. Now I'm making an empowered choice instead of being told off like a child, don't do that. Okay. This is why I say to you, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. But when you take this information and you start to ingest this information and you say, wow, I have a choice. I'm not being told to do this. I have a choice. I'm being empowered to change. You come from a very different spot of just, I don't know, empowerment. That's the only word I can think of right now. So share this with your gal pals. This is information that is life-changing to help somebody not have diabetes, not have forms of cancer, not have dementia. All of this stuff is crucially important. Okay. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Healthy hugs, everybody. Go about your day with the beautiful smile on your face, touch some dirt, hug a tree, ground yourself into nature. Be 1% better than you were yesterday. Process your emotions, get some healthy fats in your diet. So many simple shifts you can make. And if you feel like, you know what, Tanya, I want more of what you're saying, and I want some accountability, and I want some motivation, and I want to be supported in a community that is living this stuff. I want to know how to fast during my cycle. I want to know how to eat better during my cycle. Again, if you're postmenopausal, you still have a cycle. Most of the women in my membership are postmenopausal, and they have made tremendous improvements in their health. So it's never too late. You're never too young. You're never too old. It's never too late. And if you feel like, man, I want some support, by all means, reach out and come and join me in this beautiful ride to vibrant health. All right, everybody, have a great day. Mwah.